Hi. In this video, I will be attempting to solve the 5 Day 4 puzzles of the 2017 Galactic Puzzle Hunt. I did find a pronunciation of the name of the team behind the Galactic Puzzle Hunt, complete with emoji.
Thank you to all of Whoosh Galactic Trendsetters. Meow.
Okay, Whoosh Galactic Trendsetters Meow. There is a spoiler alert for all of these puzzles as the answers will be revealed. Check the video description for links to the puzzles, links to previous days solving videos, and timestamps of specific puzzles within this video. So if you're watching this video when it was first uploaded, then it should be just a couple of days before July 23rd, 2021, which is the date of the 2020 Galactic Puzzle Hunt. Like I mentioned in a previous video, there was no Galactic Puzzle Hunt during 2020 because Whoosh Galactic Trendsetters Meow was busy writing the 2021 MIT Mystery Hunt. The name might be confusing, but this is happening in 2021. So as you might guess, I highly recommend this for anybody who's interested in puzzle hunts. It's always really good. Yeah, if you've been watching these videos and you think that would be cool to check out, then it's a great opportunity. It's teams of up to 10 and it's all online, so you can work from anywhere. If you're watching this video later in the future, then these puzzles should still be there, so hope you can tell from these videos that I think it's fun to solve the puzzles even after the hunt is over. So yeah, as I said, the 2021 MIT Mystery Hunt this last year was by the same team, and I thought it was great. Like always, at the end of Mystery Hunt, there is a set of puzzles that I want to go back to and look at again, so maybe I will. But for now, back to the Galactic Puzzle Hunt. Okay, let's start with Day 4, Puzzle 1, Famous by Association. As a young upstart at the hottest VC firm right now, you need to decide which startups to fund this quarter. Unfortunately, your server caught fire last night and you lost the data that matched each startup with its proposed business model. Some of the startups literally just submitted a name, says your boss with obvious disdain, handing you some papers. Ignore those. Alright, so we've got a list of startups, target for Series A round. You see a note attached to this sheet from your boss. These look like the most promising batch we've had in years. And then a bunch of, I guess these are proposed business models. Like Tinder for robots, like Slack for physicists, like Mechanical Turk for zombies. Okay, I'm not too familiar with the language of, was this venture capitalism? Alright, well, might as well start by just putting this in a spreadsheet. Got the data in the spreadsheet. Still not quite sure where to begin. So we've got 32 startups and 14 business models. The target dollar amount is always a whole number multiple of 1 million, and these numbers are all 1 through 26. But they don't spell anything. So several of these business models, the target demographic or whatever is repeated. Animals appears 4 times, robots twice, teenagers twice. I recognize a number of these companies, and I assume they were all startups at one point. Well, this one is a venture capital firm. Let me see if these are real things. Okay, so this one's just an empty domain. It's possible that they had something there during the event 4 years ago, but I suspect that if it was necessary, they would have mentioned that. Made a mistake capping some of these. Okay, we've got 32 startups and 20 business models. Animals appears 5 times. Robots 3 times, teenagers 3 times. Alright, let's see if we can see any way to match these up. So like zombies and brain. Pirates. Galleon. Could galleon be like square for pirates? House elf could be wizards. It's a Harry Potter reference. Soylent is a nutrition company for robots. Spark doesn't sound right. Could proof be for mathematicians? Sporkle. World's largest trivia quiz website. Ansible. Is that a communication thing? Faster than light communication. Okay, so this is science fiction communication device. And Slack is a communication device for physicists. Charger could be Soylent for robots. Alright, I'm not confident this is correct, but I feel like I can probably make a guess for each of these, or most of them, based on the names of the startup. Some of them are a lot better than others. So like Android, should that be Tinder for robots? Or Soylent for robots? Or BuzzFeed for robots? Let's start with the ones there's only one of. Houses, home design. House for animals. Could that be Nest? Snapchat is messaging, so that could be Cheap or Howl. Oh, Spotify for animals. That's music, so that could be Cheap. Definitely not sure, but I can see hash going here. It's kind of food, right? Yeah, okay. And blockchain hash. Yeah, that's a thing too. Oh, I bet Cheap is Groupon for animals. We're getting something for most of them, but yeah, I'm not sure what to do next. Copy the letters over, but it's pretty obvious that's not going to spell anything. Some of the startups literally just submitted a name. Ignore those. I've faded out the ones that do not have a corresponding business plan, according to what I have so far. ClubHub, Creed, Flame.io, Form, Goldfish, Pitch, Shocker, Slumber, Spark, Target, Tone, Trivial. Can't imagine why they would include any that we're just supposed to ignore. Oh, you know what? I'm going to make Pitch A16Z for musicians. Because A16Z is a venture capital startup, or is a venture capital company. And so pitch has a double meaning. Man, it'd be great if they were all like that. I can see brain applying to Mechanical Turk and zombies. Oh, okay. Trivial. Because Sporkle is about trivia, mathematician, trivial, sometimes shows up in mathematics. Okay, those look pretty good. Let's see if we can get similar things for the others. Square is for point of sale, for payments. Galleon's a kind of ship. I don't see that. Y Combinator is a seed money startup accelerator. Whatever that means. Hello Sign is for e-signatures. Hello Sign for artists. Form. Oh, Spark. It's Tinder for robots. Cool. There. So it looks like stealth is a term of art related to startup funding. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that for this. That's Y Combinator's business. Yeah, maybe I should read a bit more about these other companies. Okay, that's got to be it. Looking at these numbers, the smallest is 5 and the largest is 23. So they could be letters of the alphabet, but they don't really look promising that way. You think you could use them to index into either the companies being compared to or the target demographic. Neither of those work very well. Like 23, you can't index 23 in either of these. I was thinking 5 being the smallest was a little strange. So I thought, what if you indexed into the entire business plan? Because the first 4 letters are the exact same in each one. So that might be something useful. Seems about right, the range. And that looks pretty good. I just took out all the spaces and everything of the business plan. And index gives you this. So I'm still missing a couple, and I bet a couple of these are wrong. But it looks pretty good. Fruitocora Angelo. Yeah, there's got to be it, but can't quite see what it says. Adam D'Angelo is best known as the co-founder and CEO of Quora. So this could be Fruit or Quora's D'Angelo. Quora's D'Angelo would be cluing Adam. Fruit of Leapfrog. Okay, so Leapfrog would give us an of there, which looks pretty good. Does Shocker make sense, BuzzFeed for robots? Probably. Could also be Fruit of Adam, which Adam's apple. Okay, I like that. Fruit of Quora's D'Angelo could be Adam's apple. Yeah, let's try that. All right. Great. Let's stop the timer. And my wall time is only higher this time because I had an issue with my recording setup I had to take care of. Famous by Association by Nathan Pinsker and Lucy Zhang. So I'm very thankful that they have this explanation for all of the answers in the puzzle. Some of them that I felt like I was probably getting wrong actually turned out that it was more or less right. Snapchat messages are ephemeral and goldfish have short memories. That's one that felt a little uncertain to me, but that's exactly what they were looking for. So this was an interesting concept. I've not seen this sort of thing in a puzzle before. And it references some real-world trivia that I had little knowledge of, so I had to look up what a lot of these companies do. So, I felt like I learned something. It definitely seems like there's sort of a sense of humor involved here. Like some of these are sort of like jokes, and the answer is the punchline. So there's a few moments that were kind of funny. I definitely appreciated that they put a clue in the flavor text that there were red herrings in here. Some of these startups are not associated with anything. You're just supposed to ignore them. That was very kind because it's pretty unusual that there would be red herrings. Maybe they really liked some of these names that weren't being used for anything, and so they wanted to make sure to get them in. Or maybe it was too easy without them. But yeah, definitely it's unusual. Typically there would just be just as many startups as there are slogans. I felt like I was missing something. Like there was some pattern that I expect them to all sort of match up with that I never saw. That doesn't seem to be the case. there's a couple of different ways that you get the words. It's all like, it's associated with the two words in the clue. But like, sometimes it uses a double meaning, like spark, Tinder for robots. Okay, that's good. Hash, blockchain for food. On the other hand, sometimes it's not like a double meaning, but it's referring to how the two words relate to each other. Like house for animals is nest, and TaskRabbit for wizards is house elf. And I feel like both of these styles of cluing are totally reasonable, but I had a little trouble because they were mixed together. That's not necessarily a problem, but it does make things harder. Oh yeah, I had this one wrong, galleon. I thought because Square is a point of sale app and galleon is a sailing ship, that was the association, but it says here that galleon is strongly associated with gold due to the Harry Potter series. So I guess that's the relation to Square, because point of sale apps involve money, which is gold, and the currency in Harry Potter is galleons. I guess I don't know why, if they were trying to associate with money and pirates, why didn't they go with like treasure or doubloon? But I think a big piece of this is that these names are sort of supposed to be like plays, like stereotypical startup names, which I don't really have a good feel for. So I'm sure there's some familiarity with the topic of startups and venture capital would have helped here. So yeah, I think this is a good reminder for me that there's not like hard and fast rules. You can have red herrings. You can have clues that clue the words in multiple different ways. And as a puzzle solver, you have to be ready for things to keep you on your toes. So it's good. This is good practice, and it'll keep me thinking about what to look for next. Okay, day 4, puzzle 2, Watchers and Fliers. Inspired by the Puzzle Ball tournament, you go for a morning run. You spot some geese spinning above you in some interesting flight patterns. What do you make of their strange cycles? Okay. So this first one's a configuration of 10 geese, and they have 3, 4, or 5 letters beneath them. 2, 3, 5. Here's another one. Okay. So a few different patterns of geese, letters, and what looks like an enumeration at the bottom. All right, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to solve this on a spreadsheet, but I'll at least write down the information that we have so far. Okay, so one thing I was wondering is whether the number of geese matched the total of the enumeration, like it does in this case, but it certainly does not in every case. Yeah, so only 2 out of 8 have that property, so I think that's just a coincidence. So spinning in cycles is, I'm sure, a clue. Not sure what it is yet. It could be Caesar shifting the letters. I'm going to try a couple of these longer ones to see if they work. RQEMGV. Pocket. Let's take another 6-letter one. ZBGURE. Mother. Okay. So it seems likely that at least some of these are just Caesar shifted by some amount. So, all right, get to work on this. Yeah, so decode.fr, by the way, if you don't know it, is a very useful site for ciphers like this. It definitely comes up a lot of mystery hunt style puzzles, but it's great that it gives you both the plain text and the amount it's shifted by, which seems pretty likely that it could be important. So I'll just fill these in. Alright, I should be able to, if there are going to be 10, I should be able to shift them automatically. So I don't have to use the site for each one. Let me take a look at puzzle 2. Okay, so all the ones in puzzle 2 have the same shift as well, by 2. Yeah, this doesn't seem too bad, but it will probably take me a little while. Yeah, I should be able to do this automatically. It'll be a little tricky, but yeah. Give it a shot so I'll know how to do it for next time. Okay. Alright, so puzzle 1 is shifted by 10, and puzzle 2 is shifted by 2. And I want to make it so that if I fill these in appropriately, then I will see all the plain text. So this uses the puzzle column to look up corresponding shift. Probably going to need a few columns for this. Okay, so we split the ciphertext out. Oh, let's unshift each ciphertext character back to its plaintext character automatically. Cool. Alright, great. So we're just splitting the letters, apply the shift, and concatenate back so we can hide these columns. Okay, great. And we can see that all of the pattern 1 geese transform into real words. So that's great. Same with 2. And of course for 3 and beyond we haven't gotten there yet. It'd be pretty easy to put in just all the numbers from 1 to 26 and see which one makes words here. But that's basically what this is doing, so might as well just do it here. So I'll do a few at a time. PWO, AMB, WNN. Hog set off, +8. Hog set off, wash. Great. So we've got a shift for each puzzle. Now these numbers, I could try to do something with these numbers, but I'm going to leave that for now and come back to it. Alright, so these seem like pretty common words. Like the first letters don't obviously spell anything. So some of them I see can be joined up. Mother, load, offshore, toothache, headache. Is it possible that every word can be matched up with one of the others, at least one of the others? So foolproof, race car, toothbrush, headline, toothache. Okay, so there's a few ways to match this up here. Yeah, I'm gonna try drawing this out. Like do lines between ones that are related. Proof car brush ache line, tooth hair head race fool. Proof car brush ache line, tooth hair head race fool. Okay, now let's do a layer that is connecting ones that can be used to form a compound word. I guess I'm going to connect the centers of the geese, but don't suspect that'll make a huge difference. Toothache. Foolproof. Race car. Hairbrush. Huh, okay, that's really symmetric. Yeah, I definitely like how this looks, but I'm not sure where to go with it. What was the enumeration for this one? 2, 3, 5. That's cool. All right, I'm intrigued. Let's do another one. Actually, let's do one with an interesting pattern. Yeah, what about this? How's this one going to connect? All right. Hog set off, wash, head, lift, hot, fork, wire, hay. Forklift. Lift off, offset. Headset. Hot head. Hot wire. Yep. Head wash, set wash. I mean, some of these might be things, but they're not nearly as common as... Seems like these connections are all really common words. Yeah, so hot wash is a thing, but I don't think I've ever heard of it. So I'm going to assume that we're only looking for fairly common things here. Cool. All right, let's keep going. Doghouse. Watchdog. Pocket watch. Pickpocket. Blueprint. Foothouse. Pocketberry. Blueberry. Footprint and blueberry. Huh. Starway, Waystar. Wolflight. Wolfside, Sidewood. Yeah, no, not saying anything else. Street pin, street point. Pointland. Wheel point. Hitbox is something in computer graphics and video games. I'm not sure if that's too obscure or not. I'll go ahead and put it hitbox. So, I am not positive about any of these, but I feel pretty good about overall. I think that there's not a huge number that I'm missing. So all of the symbols, all of the connections seem to be making shapes that have at least one line of symmetry. But other than that, I don't recognize this group of shapes. I was thinking it might be zodiac symbols or something like that. Yeah, this one looks pretty distinctive, like a cow's face. Yeah, Taurus does not really look like that. Oh, do the enumerations match up with anything with these symbols? So there are 8 lines in this one. Just 2, 3, 5. Yeah, I don't see any way to match that up. You spot some geese spinning above you in some interesting flight patterns. What do you make of these strange cycles? And I was thinking the spinning and cycles could refer to the Caesar cipher. Could they also refer to something else? Recognize. So this is one of the symbols, but I don't recognize it. Is this for a particular company? All right. Oh, wait. Here we go. Reduced moisture. 7, 8. Nice. Okay, great. Oh, here's the cow's head. Machine wash. Yeah, okay, great. Oh, okay, laundry symbols. Yeah, you know, I think I've seen these before, but I certainly was not. I certainly got a little lucky finding this. 1. Do not ring. Okay, this one is missing a couple bars here. Motherboard, keyboard. Boy, yeah. I had a feeling I'd missed some. Okay, great. So that gives us the symbol 4. Dry in the shade. Okay, so I missed a wheelchair in this one. I want to make the iron. I kind of want to make the iron symbol out of this. Backspace. Back pin. Back street. Pinpoint. Wow, I was missing a lot here. Okay, so that's iron. That's 4311. Iron any temperature. Okay. All right. Probably very close. We still haven't used the shift for anything. I tried seeing what letter A maps to and what letter maps to A using this Caesar shift. Could use this number to index into the symbol. Let's try that. There we go. That looks good. All right, cool. I'm gonna guess that's it, so let's give it a try. All right, great. Solved. Stop the timer. Okay, Watchers and Fliers by Maxwell Johnson and Brendan Ney. I thought this was a really cool idea, making these connections between compound words in order to make the laundry symbols. There's not much in the write-up that I missed. I did catch at the end that cycles and spinning are a reference to laundry, but what I did not catch, according to the write-up, is that the title, Watchers and Fliers, is a hint for washers and dryers. I thought that was pretty cool. Solving it was pretty fun. Yeah, I like solving these puzzles in spreadsheets, but it's always fun when something kind of forces me to leave the spreadsheet and I can get out the stylus and draw lines and things like that. As I was doing this, I kind of thought that these were a bit too easy. Making these compound words, all the compound words are pretty obvious. It seemed like, I felt I did miss some, but at the time, it felt kind of easy. But looking back, I'm really glad they did that. They did the right thing here by making it that easy. If you were a bit off on some of these, or some of these were obscure, or if you had extra lines that shouldn't be there, that can make the solution much more difficult to get. So I thought this was well balanced. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure how lucky I got finding this. I was about ready to give up trying to identify these symbols when I happened upon it. I guess I need to remember if I'm looking for something I don't even know what it is I'm looking for. I have to be a bit patient. Day 4, Puzzle 3, The Treasure of Apollo. Congratulations, you managed to find the core path to the hidden temple of Apollo. Now all you have to do is open the chest and claim the item inside. But what are these instructions? Maybe there are some clues hidden in the temple itself. Okay. Alright, so a list of instructions with a number at the end of each one. Some blanks here. A grid of words. And then a series of blanks below. Okay. First, place your blood on the lock. We need to make sure your bloodline is powerful enough. Second, rage at the silliness of these instructions. Third, meditate, focus your chi, and kick the chest. So these numbers are clearly not enumerations, because we have a 1 here. There's 11 instructions, 11 blanks here, 2, 2, 7. Let's see, I don't see any pattern in the words yet. So, even, me, killed, has, man, this, you. The grid is 13 by 13. There are repeated words in here. And 11 sets of blanks. So, since the last video, actually, I have learned how to play Dungeons and Dragons, and some of these things remind me of mechanics in the game of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm not sure if it's, I'm not sure if it's specific to that, or maybe other role-playing games, or maybe just this sort of adventure genre in general. But I think there might be 11 different classes of characters in Dungeons and Dragons, and these like sneakily attack the lock. That's what is that? A rogue is one of the 11 classes. Favorite enemy, I think that's something specific. Favorite enemy. Okay, so maybe seeing connections that aren't really there. Lay your hands. Lay on hands is an ability of the Paladin class. So I'm not sure that this is right, but I'm going to try to see how many of these I can match up to a Dungeons & Dragons class. Rage. I think that's... Rage is Barbarian. Inspire courage among your companions by giving a shout. That definitely sounds like a Dungeons & Dragons thing, but I don't know what that is. Bard. Okay. Okay, so this is D&D edition 3.5, and I know edition 5. So there might be some differences here. Okay, so there's 12 classes in D&D 5th edition. Looks like in edition 3.5, there are 10, 11. Okay. Sorcerer must pick one bloodline. Okay. Alright, not sure about that one yet, but I think this looks really good. This was 2017. I don't know how much had been published yet at the time. I think maybe 3rd edition was more popular at the time than 5th edition. I think this makes sense. Can we index into the class name? No, because we have a 13 here. Can we index into the ability? It's not clear exactly what the ability is. Now, sneak attack doesn't even have enough letters. Yeah, this looks wrong. So even me killed has man this you, one keen are the life. Doesn't sound right. My thumb is number 1 on every list. Okay, that actually seems like saying something. Test the of fruits, the see them, let is might a and in. So I wonder if this is like a crossword puzzle, and we have to like find phrases. So some of them will be in order reading across, and some of them won't. Let's see, my thumb is number 1 on every list. What? Okay, cool. So that is a lyric from the sequel to Aladdin. So let's go ahead and highlight that. So yeah, so lyrics might be what we're looking for. Maybe I better use different colors. Okay, most of these are songs. Party in Such Sweet Sorrows from Romeo and Juliet, which is a play. So I found two from this song from Aladdin 2, You're Only Second Rate, and that matches these blanks here. So I suspect there's going to be 11 different songs. Not sure what to do with Romeo and Juliet, but we should be able to get these 11 titles of the songs out. The night is young and you are beautiful. Is that really what it's called? Yeah, the night is young and you're so beautiful. What? All these different artists. Who sang it originally? Alright, Dean Martin, we'll go with that. I'm gonna guess Party in Such Sweet Sorrow is also a song lyric, and I'll find out what the song is. I think that it looks like all of these are going to appear multiple times. Starting to see something in the squares that are not used, so we should try to find them all. Might just be missing one down here. Here we go. The name you want to see up on that bill. Something rotten. I am the name you want to see up on that bill. What is this? Okay. I bet Party in Such Sweet Sorrow appears in here. Yep, okay, great. So what song is this from? Yeah, okay, Willpower. You are the Pathfinder. Now notice who is with who. You. Not sure what's going on there. Okay, you are the Pathfinder. Now notice who is with who. So, 11 songs. Is it possible to match up each song with a class? It's like Willpower obviously makes sense for Bard, since Shakespeare is the Bard. You're only second rate. Return Jafar. I want to say Jafar is a sorcerer in the movie. It might be more obvious in the sequel. I don't even know if I've seen that, but what else? Colors of the Wind is about nature. That could be Druid. So these are in alphabetical order, and they fit the enumeration, so I'm pretty sure that these are all exactly right. I don't think we need to use the work that it's from, but if they do in some cases, I'm not sure I have it correct. Put the name of the character that sings these as well. Alright, you are the Pathfinder. Now notice who is with who. I'm pretty sure, if I didn't mention this, that Pathfinder is a clue to Dungeons & Dragons. I think it's like a version of Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition, but I think there's some complication there. So now notice who is with who. I was wondering if each song could be sung from one character to another character, but that is not true. Javert Suicide there's only one character on stage at the time. Some of these match up really well. In this case, the character's name is Wizard. Some I'm just really kind of blindly guessing. I don't see anyone that makes a lot of sense for fighter or barbarian. I mean, so Don Quixote is like a knight in shining armor type, so that could be a fighter as well. Then I don't even know. This is like a popular song. It's not usually part of a musical. Apparently it was written for a stage production at one point. But I don't think these were characters. I think it was just like a performance. This definitely looks wrong. So putting it in this order, there's two reasons I would do that. One is that these clues specifically say first, second, third. So this makes me think these are the first, second, third letters of the answer. And second, all of these songs are in alphabetical order, which means that you probably want to reorder them from this. So I wouldn't put them in this order. I don't see any way to join up lyrics from different songs in this. Oh, you know what? I bet this who is extra. You are the Pathfinder, now notice who is with you. That's better. Almost to me. Let's see if we can make sense of this list. The Wizard. Alright, so William Shakespeare and the Wizard, like the only two I'm sure of. So MR seems a little weird. Restore. If this one was an R. Yeah, I'm pretty unsure about this, but there's a version of Robin Hood where Robin Hood sings this song, which is very popular and has many versions, but none of these other versions seems like there's a character that's anywhere close to a Dungeons & Dragons character. So I'm going to go ahead with Robin Hood in this case, which I think would probably make this the Ranger. And I put this character as Ranger because he's like a guide in the story, but I think Robin Hood fits better, but Barbarian doesn't make sense for him. What else could he be? Okay, so I think that improves things, and now this does say restore, which is great. Yeah, that can't be right. There's no vowels. Film restore, form restore, sound like a thing. Farm restore. Yeah, this could also just be Shakespeare, which makes it a P. Alright, I feel pretty close, but I'm definitely not there yet. But I do need to go for now, so I will pause the timer and come back to this later. Alright, I am back. Where were we? I was thinking I should probably go back and check this class list. Because Pathfinder is referring to a specific version of the game. So before, when I was playing with class lists, I basically just stopped when I found one that was 11. So let me just make sure that's the right version. Okay, so Pathfinder is not a version of Dungeons & Dragons. However, Pathfinder 1st edition was based on 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons. And the second edition was not released until 2019, which is too late for this puzzle. This is from the 2017 hunt. Okay, so what we want is the first edition Pathfinder class list. Looks like we did the right classes, but let's read the description in case there's some other hint that would let us match these up with people. Fighter is a master of all manners of arms and armor. Yeah, the fighter is one I had trouble matching. The barbarian is a brutal berserker from beyond the edge of civilized lands. Tracker and hunter. The ranger is a creature of the wild. So the paladin is the knight in shining armor, which I think makes the most sense for Don Quixote, to be honest. Devoted follower of law, that really is more Javert. Don Quixote definitely seems like a bad choice here. Yeah, because that puts a Q here. Okay, so these 11 are the core classes in Pathfinder, and there's also base classes. So that's hinted at by the flavor text here. The core path of the Hidden Temple of Apollo. Oh yeah, I shouldn't forget that we have the blanks here. So it's a 2-letter word, 2-letter word, and then a 7-letter word. So restore looks really good. FFMM restore. FFMP restore. MP Restore is an ability in Final Fantasy game. Oh, the wizard from Wicked has a name. Okay. Still an R, though. So for the song Jet Set, the lyrics are, check your worries at the gate, and I'll put down roots some other day. According to the lyrics, one is sung by All, and one is sung by TWA, which is the name of an airline. Okay. So these are the names of characters. These are all airlines, but I guess these are employees of those airlines singing the song. Yeah. Okay. So Frank Jr., the character, is in this song, but is not the one singing these lyrics particularly. It's tough because in every other case I was able to identify the character who sang that lyric. So if it's a different character, I wasn't sure about this being a rogue anyway to begin with. What do we know about the rogue? A thief and a scout, an opportunist capable of delivering brutal strikes against unwary foes. But if it is the rogue, it needs to be at least 13 letters. So, I mean, I like this, it works with restore. The only thing, though, is that if it's not the case that the character whose name we need sings all these lines, then it's possible that some of the other ones are wrong. Maybe what I should be looking for is not the person who sang these lines in this song, but whoever fits this class best, whatever character from that song. I'm pretty uncertain that Sarastro and Cleric is correct. I do see places that refer to Sarastro as a sorcerer. However, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The Magic Flute, he's actually a wise priest. So I do think that Cleric makes sense, but I wouldn't rule out that being wrong. Like right now, I feel like pretty confident that Restore is correct, but I don't want to fall into the trap of like seeing something that mostly works and then not considering the possibility that it's wrong. So nothing is certain yet. Unfortunately, I think I'm stuck. I'll stop here for the night and take another look tomorrow. Here's people making cases for Robin Hood being various different classes. Apparently he could be a barbarian, bard, cleric, fighter, paladin, ranger, or rogue. Yeah, I think ranger is probably a really good match for Robin Hood just because ranger's kind of a unusual thing compared with like a rogue or fighter. You don't see it in too many works of fiction. Like I'm definitely having trouble thinking of another character from a musical that I would consider a ranger. I feel pretty good about this one. The only association I can think of for barbarian is that they're from beyond the edge of civilized lands. It's like from a faraway land. And so in the Book of Mormon, it's about some Mormons coming from a faraway land. So I'm wondering if the missionary characters in Book of Mormon could be barbarian in that sense. They come from somewhere else. I guess what makes most sense to me is that the defining characteristic of the barbarian is the rage ability, and the song is, I guess, sort of a rage song. I'm not sure, but that doesn't round on the character. It could be like if the association is to the song and not the character, that doesn't tell us which character in this we should be calling the barbarian, calling the one raging. I guess he's the one who sings most of the song. But in every other case, it's like I can see a connection between the character themselves and the class. All right, I guess I am stuck, and I guess I am going to give up. I thought about getting a hint, but yeah, I think I'm going to stop using hints the way I was using them before. I don't want to say I won't use them at all, but I don't think that it would help in this case. I'm just going to go over the puzzle one more time. The clues pretty clearly clue to Pathfinder classes, and I think that is it. I do not think that there's anything else that I'm missing from the clues. 11 blanks. I definitely assume we need to extract one letter corresponding to each of these to go into the 11 blanks corresponding to each of the classes. I assume that they go in this order, and I assume that this is some index into something. You are the Pathfinder, now knows who is with you. 1, this tells us that the Pathfinder game is the one we want to pull the classes from. And 2, when it says who is with you, I'm not sure, but I think that is a clue that we want to know the character involved in each of these songs, not just the song title. I'm pretty positive I have the right song titles. The question is, what do you extract from between the clue and just nothing else working? I think it's a character from each one. It's not always the one who sings. So this is my best guess for the names. Extracting gives FFMA restore. I'm not even going to bother putting this in. I'm pretty positive this is not the right answer. Restore looks pretty good, but if all of these were correct and it was just the first 4 that I was getting wrong, I feel like I would have. There's only a few possibilities of swapping them out, and I've certainly tried every which way. So I kind of have to imagine that restore isn't correct, that I'm missing something else, and it's just a coincidence that it spells a word. But I guess I'm 50-50 on it. So my best guess, my hypothesis is there's nothing really major that I missed, but I made a couple of mistakes at some point, and that's put me far enough away from the answer that I can't bridge that gap. Maybe I should swap 2 of these classes, for instance. A lot of them look pretty good, but maybe there's an error or 2 there. I think the songs are all correct, but maybe I put the wrong name here, and definitely a few of the characters associated with the classes could be incorrect. So between all that, I think I just wound up too far from the answer. So let's go ahead and log the failure. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and look at the solution now. The Treasure of Apollo by Seth Mulhall. Seth Mulhall also did a very fun logic puzzle on day 2. So first of all, let's go over the answer. I was closer than I thought. So if you do it right, and I was very close to doing it right, you get the phrase FFmpeg restore. So since the flavor text indicates we're looking for an item, we find the item in the Final Fantasy series of games that restores magic points. So you do a search for this and it says various items such as ether and resting with a tent or an inn will restore MP. So the answer is ether. So I did this web search. I already did, I had figured out how to get FFmpeg restore from the extraction, and I did the search, and it didn't look like this was really turning up anything significant, so I did not catch that was the right way to do it. And the only thing I had wrong on this list was that it's just Shakespeare. That gives you the extraction. And so yeah, I had it at one point, but changed it back because I had no idea what FFmpeg restore meant. I don't think I was the only one. There is an author's note here that says people were having significant difficulty interpreting the clue phrase. And I think that's what this is referring to, that the clue phrase was FFmpeg restore, and people were having significant difficulty interpreting it. This wasn't meant to be the difficult or interesting step of the puzzle. We decided to release the clue phrase's enumeration during the hunt. So I think they're saying that these blanks got added in during the hunt. I can't imagine trying this without that. I certainly never would have gotten without that enumeration. So this is definitely one of the more difficult extractions I have ever seen, I would say, in that even when you have it exactly right, it's not very clear that you have it right, which obviously makes a big difference for extractions. It certainly happens sometimes when you will have the extraction exactly right and you'll look at it and be like, that can't be right. But then you have to, there's some acronym in it or something that you have to read it very slowly and make sure you understand what it's saying. If your solution up to that point is really solid, then I think it makes sense to really critically think about how could this possibly be the extraction. If it was, what would it mean? But it's hard to know whether your solution is really that solid. There's a couple things that made it slightly harder for me than I think it was intended to be. Each of these songs is either a solo or has a principal singer who sings the indicated lyrics. I don't think that's true for Jet Set, so I kind of concluded that this was not the pattern that I should be looking for. But, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's more than one recording of that song. For Barbarian, I would have thought to use like a Wreck-It Ralph kind of character. I'm thinking for musicals, there's Mr. Hyde from Jekyll and Hyde, or even the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Maybe there's some good reason why they couldn't go with that. Yeah, there was also a lot of ambiguity in whether to use William Shakespeare, even the Bard. That's true. I noticed that as well. Also, is it the Wizard of Oz? Could be called something else. Robin Hood could be Robin of Locksley. That's what he was called in that movie. Mulan could also be Fa Mulan, if you include the family name. So something that would cut down on that ambiguity would be really awesome. If instead of having the blanks for the song names, it was the blanks for the character names, that would have been really, maybe too easy, but definitely I would have been a lot more certain going into the extraction. All right, so the main idea of this puzzle I thought was really cool. It's kind of fun to match up characters from fiction with archetypes of some sort, and Pathfinder classes is a great set of archetypes. Yeah, so I had fun, definitely with the core part of this. I just had trouble interpreting the final extraction, so I feel like I got to solve it all the way through, and I feel like I had a really good time solving this one. Next up, Day 4, Puzzle 4, a basic puzzle. Okay, a basic puzzle. We've got a sequence of numbers of increasing length. That is it. The third one is bolded. Alright, so this number does show up on the web, but I think it's just because of this puzzle. So I will try to avoid doing any web search for any of these numbers to avoid spoilers. Okay, so we don't have much to go on besides the title and the structure of the puzzle, obviously. Basic makes me think of pH in chemistry, makes me think of the basic programming language, base numeric conversions. That definitely seems like a good place to start. So let me see one thing. Okay, so a 9 appears in every one. So that means these are at least base 10 numbers and probably exactly base 10 numbers. But we could convert them from base 10 to some other base. Yeah, so there is a function here, but I don't know how good it's going to be. Base 36 is an obvious good choice because that gets you all the letters from A to Z. Okay. So yeah, you can't convert higher than base 36 here. Cool. Yeah, this looks great. We've got the original number in base 10, and then base 11 is made of the digits 0 through 9 plus A. Base 12 is up through B, and so on. So base 36 is up through Z. And this looks very close to a word. Let me make sure that this is working correctly. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the second one is too large to be converted using the spreadsheet. That number looks pretty weird. It looks pretty weird in a number of different bases. The ones that are powers of 2, 2, 4. Yeah, it would be great to know that I was doing this correctly, so I'm going to go ahead and do it in Python where I'm sure it can handle this large precision. That's not right. That's converting from base 16 to base 10. I'll get the other way. That's not right. Oh, this is not built into Python? Okay, never mind. I'll just do it in JavaScript. Okay. I have a feeling we might want to convert from other bases back to base 10 as well, so I'll have this function work both ways. All right, so this is not going to be very efficient or really very, very elegant, but it should be pretty straightforward. FF. This will go from base 16 to base 10. This will be 255. Oh yeah, we'll output strings. Okay. And we can also go the other way. Okay, so we have two bases here, B from and B2. I don't know, this makes sense in my head, but it's probably hard to explain. Let me just go ahead and finish coding and I'll try to explain it at that point. I had a memory error. Doesn't seem right. Oh. I was trying to do this in Python, but this is just a comment. This line does nothing. Oh man. Okay, that should be better. All right, so this looks right. Converting FF from 16 to 10 gives 255. Convert back, and this one from the puzzle gives DCIM9W. Okay, so I won't cover this function in a lot of detail. It's pretty straightforward JavaScript. I'm not doing anything too fancy. But I'm representing the output as a sequence of digits, and these are numerical. It's like when you're converting to base 16, these values in these numbers are in base 16. And so these digits could be anywhere from 0 to 15. They temporarily can get larger than that, and then I just implement the carry. That's what this function does. If any of the digits is larger than 15, then it will carry over to the next one. And so this steps through the input, and for each digit in the input, it takes that digit times b from raised to the nth power. So if it's like, if you're converting from base 10 and you're in the digit number 3, that's 10 to the third, so 1,000 times that. And this is all, of course, representing the output base, but that happens here. And each time through, we just multiply by the input base so that at each step it's b from raised to the n. If that doesn't make much sense, this is a little complicated. You could also solve this puzzle just by plugging each one into Wolfram Alpha. That looks pretty good. Let's get the rest of these in here. All right, again, we're assuming that each of these originals is in base 10. For now, anyway. All right, so we're looking for anything that looks interesting here. So we already saw this one. Looks very close to a word, decimal. None of the other base 36 ones look that good. So this one we notice in base 2 has a ton of ones. And you can see that in any power of 2. So base 4 will have a lot of 3s, base 8 will have a lot of 7s, base 16 has a lot of Fs, and base 32 has a lot of Vs. Definitely not sure what to make of that yet. Starts with 4 7s. Okay, so this is the one that was bolded in the original. It starts with 4 7s, and ends with 7 7 7 9 9 8. Yeah, if anything, its base 10 looks more interesting than anything else. Let's bold the ones we think are interesting. So base 2 on this one, base 10 on this one. This one has a lot of zeros in base 2. Of course, you can see it in base 4, 8, 16, and 32 as well. Okay, yeah, nothing else jumps out. I wonder if we might have to add something to these numbers, and that will change the results. Let's take a look at the ones we know. How close is this to the actual word decimal? $25. So if you add 25 to this one, then in base 36 it becomes the word decimal. 25. Let's look at base 25. You don't see anything there yet. Interesting. Okay, so for the second one, that had so many ones in base 2, if you count the number of consecutive ones in a row, so I split this on the zeros. So we've got 15 ones, then a 0, then 3 ones, then a 0. And these numbers, 15, 3, 21, 8, 2, come close to spelling octal. An octal is the name of a base, just like decimal is. Octal is base 8. So what would we need to add to this number to get it to be exactly octal? All right, so we need to add 1100. Okay, which is 12 in base 10. Interesting. So if we could find some reason why we need to add a value to each of these so that in some base it becomes something interesting, then that will give us numbers to extract. Yeah, very little is jumping out at me. I am kind of grasping at straws. This one in base 27 has a lot of O's, and that's not 0. That is the letter O. BO, 5P, PO, 1P, 4O, OO, CO, 7O, 5O, PO, CO, FO, 1N. And this N can be changed to an O pretty easily by adding something. It would be 1O something at the end there. I feel like we're supposed to be treating the O's as zeros. Yeah, so these that start with a P I'm not sure about. And this one is just 0, so that's not a letter. And this one will have to change. I'm definitely missing something. Right. Let's look for conspicuous discrepancies here. So this is the longest one, the last one, converted into every base. and then I'm counting the number of times each digit in that base appears in that number. So in base 2, there's 127 zeros, 118 ones. Seems pretty normal. However, in base 3, 2, 0, and 1 appear a lot more than 2 does. That's very interesting. And base 4 is more back to normal. Yeah, these are pretty typical distributions. I'm looking for any significant like zeros. So this is base 9. So each base 9 number represents 2 base 3 numbers. So I think this is just reflecting the fact that there's very few 2s in the base 3 representation. Yeah, I don't see any patterns other than that. Okay, so let's take a look at this one in base 3. We could try splitting by 2s or something. So yeah, there's only a few 2s, and a lot of them appear here at the end. Whereas and if we add something to this, then this will probably change. There won't be so many 2s in a row at the end here. So I think this is pretty significant. So let's try splitting by the 2s. These last few will need to be changed. But we've got 5 numbers that could be binary numbers. Let's go ahead and convert these into a couple different bases. Yeah, look there. 25. They're each 25 characters long. What could you do with a 25-digit binary number? Yeah, okay, so that's another 25. So we're going to have 6 25-digit numbers. So I feel like I sort of see some patterns here. Like this block is a mirror image of this block. Actually, the entire top row is a palindrome. It's a mirror image. The top half. Also, the first and third are exactly the same. The bottom is definitely not a palindrome. Alright, I have no idea what I'm looking at. But we know for this one that we are in base 3. Not every base has a common name. So the ones we've seen so far, base 2 is called binary, base 3 is called ternary, base 10 is called decimal, base 12 is duodecimal, and base 36, okay, I don't know if that one has a name, but it's a good guess that that's the words that we're looking for here. You know, if there's some way to get this to spell duodecimal, that'd be great. So this approach of counting the number of times each digit appears in each base worked well for this puzzle 11, the largest one. Especially because for the larger ones, you can do statistical analysis and expect to get something significant if there is a pattern. It's going to be harder on the smaller ones. So puzzle 8, I'm noticing here, in base 5, has almost exactly 9 copies of each one, which isn't too unusual, but let's take a closer look. 42130, 31420, 13420, 14230. So, okay, yeah, this looks significant. So not only is each number appearing the same number of times, they're appearing in groups of 5. Cool. All right, let's take a closer look at this one in base 5. All right, so again, this last cluster that's 02403 is probably going to change. So that explains why there's not exactly the same number of each. We need an extra 1, and I guess we need to get rid of a 0. Yeah, we need to replace the 0 with a 1 essentially. And we might reorder the digits in here. So let's see. All right, so there are 24 possible ways to arrange the digits 1, 2, 3, and 4. We could just rank them. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would be the lowest, corresponding to A. Then 1, 2, 4, 3 would be the next lowest, corresponding to B. All right, here they are. Okay, so we can do any of the letters A through X. Nope, not that. Oh wait, these are not in order. Need to sort these. Oh, that's better. Undecimac. Okay, awesome. So this should be undecimal. So this ends with 2403 in base 5. And we need it to end with 2431 in base 5. All right, so 13. So if we add 13 to this, then in base 5, it will produce the permutations of 1, 2, 3, 4 that correspond to the word undecimal. Cool. Undecimal is, of course, the word for base 11, so we should keep our eye out on this row as well. So we've noticed some patterns, and we're on the right track, but we've still got a ways to go. We've only got 3 of the 11 puzzles actually figured out. Okay, this looks like something. It looks like every third letter here is an A. So this is the undecimal that we were looking for. This is puzzle number 5. Okay, cool. Great, now what to make of these. Yeah, if I went for this 13, I would try converting it to ASCII. Yeah, really only this final value can change when you add something. I don't see any way to affect any of the first 6. In each case, the second digit is higher than the first digit. Alright, so this is going to be a 7-letter word. The third and 6th letters are the same. Could be ternary. How can we get that? How could that possibly make sense, though? N is 69, but T is 56. 6 is T. So, assuming that anything in the 20s will end in vigesimal, this looks pretty close. It lines up in a few key places, and the rest are just a little bit off. I, JKL, M, NO, hexa dash vigesimal, P to S. Oh, that's not good. Right, so there's no 1s or 0s here, so I'm trying to think if there's a way that you can use like a phone. You know how on an old telephone, like 2 would have ABC and 3 would have DEF. Right, wasn't there a way of entering text messages where you push a number repeatedly to get a single letter? I think I remember how it works. So it starts with 4 7, so the idea is you would press 7 4 times to get S. I don't know what you do if you want 2 letters in a row that are on the same number, but maybe that won't come up. 7 7 7 7 3 7. So S 3 3 would be E. So probably just the last 2 are off. So it's probably septenary. So R is 777, and then Y is 999. Okay, so we just need to make 998 into 999. Okay, cool. That one was easy once I knew how to do it. So this one is in base 10. You add 1, you get septenary, which I believe to be base 7. Okay, I've not seen anything unusual under base 7 yet, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Great, 4 down, 7 to go. Oh, this looks interesting. Puzzle 9 in base 7. Yeah, I haven't figured out puzzle 9 yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. 1, 3, 6, 0. 1, 0. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so between the zeros, you can have the numbers 1 through 6 appear, and they appear in order. Okay, I think I see how to get started on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 bits labeled 1 through 6. Yeah, so I think this might be Braille. So I believe that these 6 spots have a number associated with them. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reading across. I could verify that, but let's assume that's true for a second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means everything except the bottom right filled in. So that's Q. 1, 3, 6. Okay. So what I thought was B136 is not on here. However, what would make a lot of sense is if it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because then we could get a U. Let's go with that. 1, 3, 4, 5 is in. E. R. Okay, so we want this last one to be Y. Let's see. So Y is 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So its current value is 1, 3, 4, 4, 1. And we want it to be 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 12. Difference of 12. So you add 12 to this number to get something that spells, once you interpret it correctly, quaternary in Braille. Okay. So it's quaternary, which is base 4. So we have not seen anything in base 4 yet. However, this one, number 6, is some power of 2. It looks weird in every power of 2. So 2, 4. I was also looking at 8. 16. It also looks weird. A lot of zeros across the board here. So this one could be quaternary. So between this text messaging input and the Braille, kind of gives an idea of what we should be looking for as far as like decoding systems. So I might expect like Morse code or semaphore. Oh, I see it. Yeah, okay. So aside from the zeros, the numbers 1 through 7 each appear once in here. Okay, so let's see. So the first letter should be Q. Quinar. Oh, okay. All right, so we need to change it. So the Y should be 7, and the Z should be 0. Yeah, that'll fix it. Okay. Okay, so we need to change it from 57 in base 8 to 70 in base 8. Okay, so it's a difference of 9. So we add 9 to get quinary, which is, of course, base 5. And we've already solved the puzzle with base 5, so that's great. Yeah, 6 out of 11 done, and a couple leads on a couple others. So we're getting there. So we've seen a puzzle that we know is base 2. We have not seen binary extracted yet. 3, ternary. We haven't quite figured that one out yet, but it looks likely. 5, quinary. 7, septenary. 8, octal. 10, decimal. 11, undecimal. So we don't have binary over here, and we don't have base 36. whatever that's called. And over here, we don't have base 4 yet, quaternary. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, this has to be at puzzle 7. There's no 2s except for the very end, and that could change. Okay. 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 3, 3, 1. Okay, so there's no 2 zeros in a row. Okay. Okay, I think it's Morse code with 1 for short and 3 for long. Well, let's see. 1, 1, 1, 1 is H. No. 1 is E. Okay, so for this one we need L, which is dit, da, dit, dit. So L is 1, 3, 1, 1. Okay, so you add 11 and convert to base 4 to get hexadecimal. Okay, so that's new information. So one of the last two has to be hexadecimal. I kind of expected that one of them would be, but now we know. Yeah, maybe this isn't right. I don't see any pattern there. So I'm thinking about what the most likely extraction is, and I don't think that we can really extract anything from these answers. I think the most likely thing is the number that you add to each one, and I think that these, along with the bases, might give a sequence for the letters. So you start with decimal, which is this one. Yeah, this is the one that's bolded in the puzzle. So the first letter is A, and then this clues to septenary, which is this one, which gives you Y, gives you L. And you take quaternary from this one to give you K, A-L-K. Yeah, so from there we don't know, because we don't know what the hexadecimal letter is. So this one that ends with decimal is probably going to be the last letter, so Y is the last letter. We don't know what clues to base 36. And we know that this L comes right before this I, which comes right before this M. So that is actually a lot. If all of that's correct, we should be able to round it down quite a bit. So ALK, and then we know that it has to have LIM within it. 3 unknown letters, and end with a Y. Alkali, many. I like alkali because, it's a basic puzzle. So, alkali is the opposite of basic. Cool, so maybe if we can get 1 or 2 more, then we might have a chance at guessing the final extraction here. So this is the one that's in base 3, but every digit, except every 26th digit is a 2 in base 3. Looking at this, if it is alkalinity, we would want a T here, which is 20. So I tried adding 20 to the given number before converting it, and it looks good. There were some 2s here at the end before, but now it's all 1s and 0s, so that's a really good sign. We also know that we would want to extract to something that means base 36. I don't know if there's a word for that. No, let's actually see. Hexatridecimal. According to one site. 14 letters long. Yeah, we had one that was 14, didn't we? Yeah, this is 14. Can we get hexatridecimal here? Okay, interesting. Okay, yep, I see it now. Okay, cool. So what we need to do is take each of these sequences of 25 bits, 25 ones and zeros, and map them to a 5x5 grid like this. So it's basically taking one row out of this and wrapping it to a 5x5. Okay, great. Yes, looks good. Nunnery, base 9. Awesome. Wait a minute. Nunnery's base 9. We don't have a base 9 here. Okay, so this 27 must be 9 instead. Remember, this didn't really look like anything in base 9. So base 27 has all these O's. What's base 9? So I guess 2 base 27 digits is 3 base 9 digits. Okay, that's somewhere to start. 805, 857, 801, 834, 826. Okay, so there's an 8 every third character. Okay. Okay, yeah, that actually is a really good pattern. Okay. So this could still be hexatridecimal, because we're still going to get 14 letters out, but each one is going to be 3 base 9 digits instead. So I think the 8 is just the separator. So it's every third digit is an 8. So we'll say 1, 2 is the first character, 05 is the second character, 8, 5, 7 is the third character. Hexatridecimal still looks good. But now we have different things that encode each letter. All of these have to use only digits 0 through 7. A pair of digits 0 through 7, so 64 possibilities. Could be like a chessboard. I'm a little suspicious about a couple of these characters. Yeah, I feel like if the D, the C, and the M could be different. I could see that. Oh. Yeah, I was thinking if it spelled alkalinity, then the Y would have to come right after the T. But now it looks like there's a letter in between them. Okay, but we know we need to add at least enough to get this up to 800. 16 in base 9 is 15, so it has to be at least 15. What if it was, I don't know, 18? Because that would give us an R. What about semaphore? There's 8 placements of a flag for semaphore. So what are all the ones that contain 0? That's E, A, and D. So A is south and southwest, D is south and north, E is south and northeast. Okay, so they all have south. So if south is 0 and southwest is 1, and north is 7, northeast is 5. All right, okay, what about H? H is 1 and 2. Okay, so a few of these work out if south is 0, southwest is 1, west is 2, northwest is 3, north is 4. So let's see what we get if we try it like that. Okay, so 1, 2 is southwest, west. That's H. Great. 0, 5. Yep, that's E. Great. 0, 7. Okay, so this is not D. What is 0, 7? It's G. 0, 5 is E. 2, 7 is west and southeast. S. And then L needs to be 1, 5. Hexatrigesimal. Okay, yeah, no, it's also called that. Okay, so 815 from base 9 to 785. All right, 80 plus 20 in base 9 is 110. Okay, so it is 18. Great. Okay, so it definitely can't be alkalinity because we have an R now. So, yeah, good thing we didn't stop there. So, all right, so assuming we go in order, and each one tells us what the next one is. So we start with the bolded one at base 10. And that says the next one is septenary, which is 7. Ternary is 4. Hexadecimal is 16. Okay, we don't have that one yet. But let's say that this gets us to the only one we don't have left, which is binary. Binary is base 2. Octal. And hexatrigeximal. Okay. Alkalimetry. Alkalimetry, measurement of the strength of alkalis. Okay, I feel pretty good about alkalimetry, but we've only got a couple left. Let's see if we can figure them out before it gets too late. So one of them, I feel like we're really close. Ternary. Oh, well, first of all, we know what we have to add to this one, right? If we add 5, we'll get 6, 7. Okay, that is better. It looks likely to me that this is like the semaphore in that it's cluing 2 different digits. Digits 1 to 9. And they're all in order. 5, 6, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 9, 1, 3. So they all appear in this orange section up here. What can you do with 2 digits 1 to 9? Okay, Morse used it. Braille used it. Semaphore used it. I've not used Pigpen, but let's put a pin in that. Hex. Ternary. Yeah, so anything that's base related, I definitely would have thought of by now. NATO alphabet. Not used that. Should we take a look at the other one? Oh man, I don't have any idea for this one. Okay, it's length 18. And we need 6 letters to spell binary. Yeah, so obviously we can try splitting it up. But to what end? With all of the others, I at least saw some pattern that made me think this was the right base. In this case, I don't see anything. Okay, I think I'm going to take a guess. I still don't have 2 of them. This one I feel pretty close. I just have no idea what the encoding is. But there's something that can map a pair of digits 1 through 9 to these letters. This one, I have no idea. I don't even know if you split them up this way or some other completely different way. All right, so this is going to be my guess. And if this was during a puzzle hunt, I would have guessed this as soon as I saw it, like an hour ago. I usually try to go all the way to the end in the videos, but this one's getting pretty long, and I feel like I did a lot of it. So let's see. It's correct. Okay, great. I'll stop the timer there. Okay, 7 hours. A Basic Puzzle by Brian Chen. Brian Chen also wrote Puzzle of the Day and Identities on day 1. This one is definitely much more involved than the 2 from day 1. The title is a triple meaning and seems to be something that this puzzle setter likes to do. So first let's go over what I was missing. So I had a mistake. I have here that this solution to puzzle 7 is hexadecimal. This is the one with the Morse code. But actually the answer to that one was heptadecimal. So I was looking in the wrong base. Instead of looking in base 16 for puzzle 4, I should have been looking in base 17. And if you do that, it's much clearer. You can see that G is every 3rd character here in base 17. Yeah, I don't know why I made that mistake. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking when I filled this out. I don't know if any of you noticed it. I like to think I would have caught that. Definitely a good reminder to double check your work no matter how sure you might feel about it. And the other one, I did not have a mistake. That was this one where I pretty much knew the answer. I just didn't know how to how you would justify it. Getting the letters to this mapping here. Okay, so watch this. Q, W, E, R, T, Y, U, I. Then on the next line, A, S, D, F, G, H, J. And the next line, Z, X, C, V, B, N. Okay? The way you're supposed to think about this is that 5, 6 is T. Those are the two digits you get if you start at the T on the keyboard and go up and to the left, you get to 5, up and to the right, you get to 6. N is 6, 9. So if you start at the N here, go up and to the left, you get to the 6, up and to the right, you get to the 9. I'm pretty sure I never would have gotten this. The encoding I was most concerned about was the one using keyboard intersections. Apparently, you can find it if you search for Puzzle Hunt encodings. That's what I should have searched for when I was looking earlier. So about the puzzle, I like the idea a lot. I really like this sort of style of puzzle where you are given very little. You just have something, some object or list or something like that, and you just have to sort of look for patterns and until you see something. It's very abstract. Yeah, there's something about it I enjoy. The construction is good in this case. It was a good idea and the construction is good. The author tried to put the less standard encodings in positions where you could miss them and still be able to guess the final answer. And the way it's sort of set up, you can use solutions to build off each other. It worked out really well. And even though I missed a couple, I was able to complete it, which was by design. So I think that's great. So the function that I coded early on in order to convert from one base to another, I don't feel like bad about it, but I do try in these videos to solve it without programming when I can. During a puzzle hunt, I definitely do a lot of programming to solve things like this. I'm pretty sure that all of these puzzles were designed to be solved without programming. I don't know what most people did during the Galactic Puzzle Hunt. Probably most people wrote a program for it. So this was a serious puzzle, a lot of work involved, 7 hours on the clock, and not much of that was spent completely stuck. I always felt like I was in the middle of solving it the whole time. So even though there was a lot to it, I really enjoyed it. This was a fun solve for me. All right, last one for day 4, Puzzle 5, Stephen's Speedrun. I am, perhaps ill-advisedly, starting this at around 7 p.m. So if this turns into another 9-hour solve, I'm in for a late night. Okay, let's see. Stephen's Speedrun. Stephen wants to see just how fast he can cook his favorite food. Link to puzzle. Okay, cool. So it's a video game. I think I've seen a puzzle script game before. I think this is a tool for building a game. I don't think we're going to need to know to go to this website. Yeah, an open source HTML5 puzzle game engine. Great. And this might be the very code for this game, which you'd think would make it easy, but knowing the exact mechanics of a puzzle doesn't generally give you the answer. We'll keep that there if we need it, but I suspect that we will not need to consult it specifically. Press spacebar or X to skip levels if you like. X to continue. Okay, so I've managed to die. I'm not sure quite what I'm looking at. But it doesn't reset the level when you die. Alright, so Z to undo. This, I think, is your character, and this is like a tool that it's holding. So if you press right, then the tool gets moved right. This is like a top-down view. Okay, so you can't go directly from left to right, but I can point in any direction and then move in that direction. So let me see something. So the counter is at 37 now. Does it take 1 step or 2 to go down 1 from here? So 1, I press down once to get to 38, and the tool is facing down. Twice to get to 39. There's a red object here that I was able to push. Okay, so it's like a Sokoban style puzzle where you push objects around to get through. Oh, burned. So I can't step onto the red and yellow section, but I was able to push objects onto it. Okay, so how long does it take Stephen to cook his favorite food? So I guess the idea is that the food is getting pushed onto the hot surface, and that's what cooks it. But if you let it stay on there for too long, then it gets burned. If I press down here, is that going to like swing the tool around and push the food onto the hot surface? Okay, great, it does. Okay, cool. So is there like some trick to how long I need to leave it on? Burned. So if I push right here, the food disappears. I guess if the food enters the blue section, then it like drops into the water or something. The tool looks like a fork or something, but I don't know if there's a way to like, I guess this is supposed to be like a sausage, but I don't know if there's a way to like stick the fork into the sausage. Like if I move into it, it just pushes it. So the sausage is made up of two blocks, and right now one of them is on the heating element, and it looks changed. And then I think if I push this one on, then that one will change as well. Okay, great. But that's not cooked. That's not all you need to do. Okay. Okay. All right, so I think that was the solution. So you have to get the food onto both heating elements. Yeah, it changes appearance when I push it off the heat. Yeah, I think this might be a reference to a real game. Steven's sausage roll. That seems pretty likely. Okay, yeah, alright. That's one of the levels I did. Now, what's the rules?
You need to push them towards some tiles that are hot grills to cook them. As you push the sausages, they roll in that direction. Both sides of every sausage need to be cooked for the puzzle to be solved.
Okay.
On some levels, the act of returning to your starting location after cooking is also part of the challenge. And that is the whole game. Almost.
Okay. Yeah, it's helpful to see it in 3D. You get a better sense of how like the tool is swinging around and the roll is rolling. So I see now. So they have two sides. So you need to get, and every time it rolls, it rotates 180 degrees. So you need to get like the top and bottom side of each sausage onto a heating element. Let me see if I can figure that out now, knowing how this works. Because apparently I can push it left from here. Okay, good to know. Okay, yeah. Once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. There's a lot of moves that you can sort of eliminate right after that. So I feel like just playing around, it shouldn't be too hard to get a solution to each of these, but given that it's called Steven's Speedrun and the flavor text said that he wants to see just how fast he can cook his favorite food, I suspect what we're going to need to do is find out the minimum number of moves needed to beat each of the levels, and that sounds like a significant challenge. I suspect we're expected to look at this, the source code for the game. I don't know, if I see anything that looks too much like a spoiler, I will reconsider. This whole puzzle script thing seems like a great tool for puzzle hunt style games. Okay, I think at the very end here are the levels. Each of these levels is a real character. Okay, so seems likely that we would need to extract a letter from each of these. 9 levels. Okay, that doesn't seem too bad. So we'll say for puzzles like this, where it's a logic puzzle and you have to figure out the rules, it is very easy to fall into the trap of thinking you know the rules when you don't actually. And when you see the solution, you're like, oh, well, I didn't know you could do that. So you really have to challenge yourself to explore and verify that the way you think the game works is actually how it works. So I'm just testing out various things to test my assumptions about how this works. So step 1, move them both to the top. Take 6 moves. Now move the right one to the bottom. 14 moves. Now we need to move them both onto the grill. Okay, that's a little faster. You swing the fork around on the second one, then it only takes 22 moves. Oh no, shoot, then you also have to get back to the spot, so that's 26. If they're all about that hard, this shouldn't be too bad, but I suspect that they get hard as you go along, so we'll see. Alright, here's puzzle 2. The idea behind this one is you need to move one of the sausages over the top to the other side, and then they both go on the grill left or right. Okay, so 5 moves to get the first one on the grill. 16 moves to get that one to the top. $36 moves to get here. Alright, so 42. Let's see if we can do better than 42. Okay, so 40 moves now. Oh, now we got up there with 15 moves. Okay, so we should get to 38 this time. Yeah, okay, 38. This is a very interesting puzzle when it comes to trying to minimize the number of moves, because the number of moves you take in one section to accomplish one thing may not be the most optimal, but it sets you up because of the position you're in at the end of it to take fewer moves in the next thing. I'll probably need to give these puzzles at least one more pass once I've gotten the hang of all the little tricks. But for now, let's call this 38. Okay, slide it into the top right corner here. And there's a couple ways to do it, but I always get onto the heating element on move 20. Okay, unlock the exit on move 47. 56 to finish. Okay. Yeah, that's clearly worse. Oh no, it's the same. Okay, 30 either way. Okay, yeah, no, you can do 28. All right. All right. I'm going to write down these numbers that appear by each one. I'm sure that it's not like part of the answer, but it'd be helpful for reference, I think. So one thing that's obvious is these are all even, and I don't know if that is kind of required by the puzzle. The puzzle requires you to move around and then get back to where you started, but there are moves that don't move you and don't move the fork either. Like from here, if I press left, it'll burn something, but it's not the case. So now I can get back to where I started, and it counters at 7. So it's not the case that if you're back where you started that you always have an even number. But aside from that, when you're like pushing something onto a heating element, it's always going to be the case that there's a parity involved. So as long as you don't have any moves like that, so maybe they would have found it easier to construct the puzzles without requiring that, which means that they were constrained to use even numbers. So the first thing we can try is just dividing through by 2. So except for 1, these are all less than 26, which is promising. However, it does not come close to spelling anything. So it's certainly not the case that there's a unique sequence of inputs that will give you the high score, assuming that it actually is 20 and there's not a faster way here. All right, so the first thing we need to do is push that sausage F1. So we could press right, down, down, left, and get up in 4 moves. Or we can press down, right, down, left, and also get it there in 4 moves. So I was able to find a faster method for level 1. Press left, and it bumps the sausage without moving the character. So let's make it done 1 move faster. 25. Oof. Alright. Alright, new record for level 2. 36. Alright, level 3 again. 54. Alright, here's an improvement for level 6. Okay, great. So down from 32 to 30. Level 6. So I watched this video a little more. It's like a review of the game. And I recognized 3 different levels from the puzzle in the video. I'm only a few minutes in. This one right here is level 3. This one. And I recognize a couple of the others as well. So I wonder if all of these levels come specifically from the game, and if so, like this one has a name. Maybe I should try to pull out the name for each one. Yeah, so this is pretty handy. Somebody on Steam has a video for solving each of these, so I just need to compare it. So if I didn't know the solution to one of these, I could look it up. All 9 of these, it looks like they appear exactly. It might be the first 9 levels of the game, actually. But I don't know if these videos are doing the optimal strategy or not. So I could count the number of moves, and if it's lower, then I know I need to improve. New record for level 5, which is surprising because it's so short. This one was originally 20, but we got it down to 18. Yeah. Okay, 18. So I was thinking about the construction of the puzzle, and I do like using these numbers that appeared in the script. Yeah, I do think it's a bad idea to sort of overanalyze why things are the way they are, but I just have an inclination that these might be important because all of these levels come from a video game, so they existed before the puzzle was created. And they're all from World 1 of the game. And if I count it right, there are 16 different levels, 16 different stages of which they chose 9. So they didn't really have a lot to go on. So I'm trying to think of what did they add? What is different from the puzzle versus the game? One is the move counter. That's not in the game. So the fact that the number of moves is significant seems important. The ordering is different. But again, there's only so much you can do with that. Yeah, other than that, not much. So let me mention real quick. These numbers, as far as I can tell, I don't know puzzle script that well, and I haven't spent much time analyzing this, but it looks to me like they don't do anything in the, the program ignores them. So you see here it says that tilde equals ocean, plus equals ocean, 0 equals ocean. So all the digits that are in the map layout will appear as ocean. This is the map, and each of these different letters is a tile on the map. And so plus 2, 7 is the 3 first tiles on the map, and so they're all going to be ocean because they, just like tilde, are all assigned to be ocean. Okay, so these numbers don't seem to do anything. They were added in, so it seems kind of important. I improved the best results a number of times, and I think I've probably changed 5 or 6 of these from when they started. I think they're looking pretty good. I have gone back through levels, and I still am finding a couple of improvements here or there, but I think this is probably pretty close. But there could be a couple that are off. And the extraction that's looking most promising, given that, is where we add the number of moves required to solve this level with the number that appears in there. Since it says, plus 27, etc. I mean, that's why I thought to do this. And that gives this column here. And if you interpret this as ASCII, you get this. And it's definitely a little weird because it's not all letters, and this one definitely seems off. The fact that we're getting some numbers out is not necessarily a problem, especially because it says each of these levels is a real character, and the character can be a letter or a number. Typically, when I improve the score, it's by 2. Like I went from 20 to 18 on that one. So the ones that look the worst are the Q and the bracket. So what happens if these are both wrong by 2? '44 Trilogy. Okay. Very interesting. 44 Trilogy in theory could be the answer, but I doubt it because they almost never put numbers. Oh yeah, and I also did a search for 24 Trilogy and 42 Trilogy in case one of these was off by 2. And those didn't turn up anything. So 44 Trilogy. But I'm not quite sure exactly what the answer would be in this case. So I'm going to try the child and child. Yeah, we'll see if that works. We do the child first. Incorrect. Okay. Now let's just try child. Okay. Child is also incorrect. Yeah, I'm certainly not ready to give up on the idea that it's referencing this trilogy. Yeah. Wow. Okay, this one is possible in 26. This took a long time to see. Well, that's a really good one. I went back through to look for any other clues in the source code. So each of these levels is a real character. And at the very top there's a comment that says, Stephen wants to see how the sausage is made. So those both seem like flavor text. There's only one other comment in here in the program. Reshade between sausages. I don't think this is flavor text. I don't think this is a clue. I think that this is describing what this piece of code does, which is what comments are supposed to do. But it's kind of strange that that's the only one they left in. And I didn't examine it super closely, so something could be hidden in here, but I read through the source code and there's nothing in here that looks like a message or a clue. So I'm trying to think of something that I could extract from somewhere that would make this make sense or give me a different answer from this. For instance, if there was something that clued to author, if I could find the word author hidden somewhere, then I would think I could try the author of this trilogy. Or if it said second book or something, then I could do the title of the second book of the trilogy. Let's see, what did we decide about wasting guesses? I think that there were 50 guesses per 5 puzzles, so we're nowhere near that yet. I've only got 3 incorrect guesses so far. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and try the author's name. Okay, so I'm ready to give up. Yeah, I haven't found anything else to extract besides this. It looks like I'm still missing something. So I've been looking at it for a while and I have not figured out what I'm missing yet. So just since I'm about to give up, I'm going to go ahead and try, as a wild guess, the titles of the 3 books in the series. Yeah, I'm going to try them even though they have numbers in them, which means I'm almost certain that they're incorrect. Okay. Yep, time to give up. Stop the timer. Oh. Okay. It was 42 Trilogy. I considered this, but I guess I didn't consider it hard enough. Cool. Alright, Stephen's Speedrun by Nathan Pinsker. Nathan Pinsker also worked on Famous by Association earlier today on day 4. So, as I mentioned, I missed 2 of these. It's really cool that they have this solution for each one. to prove that this is possible. So let me just go through and make sure that I didn't miss any mechanics. Okay. Okay, yep. Okay, so that extracts to 42 trilogy, which is a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's actually not a trilogy, but it claims to be a trilogy that in which the number 42 is important. So again, I did do a web search for 42 trilogy, and nothing really came of it. Yeah, nothing on this first page is a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I think that if I had extracted correctly, then I would have eventually got it. Definitely was a bit of a less clear extraction. We had another one with the Treasure of Apollo earlier today on day 4, where I also encountered the actual clue phrase and searched for it and didn't catch that was right. It is a little unfortunate in my case that there is something called the Child 44 trilogy, so that made it very unclear that I had the wrong extraction. Yeah, I guess when you're extracting two numbers, that a number can be off in one digit, and it's much harder to notice than if a word is off in one letter. I don't know if anybody else ran into that exact same issue as I did with the 44 trilogy. The solve to guess ratio is quite low on this one, and so it seems like a lot of people had trouble with extraction. I don't know if they had the same trouble I did or if they ran into different trouble. I will say that usually in the past when I've made a similar mistake as in the other direction, like it will be cluing something specific that I've never heard of, like the Child 44 trilogy, but I'll see, oh, if you just change this one number, it would be 42, and that would be Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is something I already know. And so I tend to go off on that red herring instead of actually focusing on what the actual extraction I'm looking at says. And it's cluing something much more directly. I think that this would be a very valuable skill to consider alternatives to extraction, because that is a very common problem where you'll be off in one or two letters. So it's something I can work on. Okay, so talking about the puzzle in general. It was fun to solve these puzzles. You know, this idea for a puzzle is really cool. The way you can have very small boards, and it's these sort of Sokoban style puzzles tend to be like deceptively simple, and this was no exception. And it shouldn't be a surprise if you like read about this game that it's based on, then everybody feels that way about it. It's like a really cool idea. The use of puzzle script for this was really cool. I don't think I've ever seen this in a mystery hunt puzzle. I might have seen one other puzzle script game before, but it's really cool. And if they could, you know, I don't know how much flexibility you have with it, but I can see a lot of potential using this for mystery hunt style puzzles. Yeah, I'm really glad they used this. It was cool to see. So beyond that, there were a couple, I guess I would say, rough edges that it seems like the author was aware of. Ideally, you wouldn't have to load the source code at all, and you know, if you are getting something out of it, these numbers seem kind of arbitrary. Ideally, you could just get the clue phrase straight from the numbers of moves. Yeah, the current clue phrase is a little abstruse, and I would have liked to give a longer, more descriptive one. I can agree with that. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played the game, so I guess it wasn't a big deal for me. All these puzzles were new to me, but I guess I would have liked it if, you know, they had made up new puzzles for this. I'm sure that you run into a bit of an issue because, like, all the good ones are taken by the game. And it actually is very different that you're trying to complete the puzzle in the minimum amount of time rather than just completing the puzzle at all, which is how the game works. I don't think it even has a move counter in the game. So just by virtue of that, you know, it didn't really feel like a copy of the game. I was thinking of, is there a way that you could make it so that people could have some indication of whether they've met the optimum or not without giving it away, you know? The thing about puzzle script is you can see the entire source codes. If you have, like, in here something that compares it to the optimum number of moves, then there's really no way to hide that. I was thinking you could have the total number of moves. I don't know if this is even possible in puzzle script, but something that tells you your total score, like the sum of all the numbers in your moves, and it just compares that, so you know whether you've got them all right, but if something's not right, you still don't know which one. That also might have given a little bit too much away, I'm not sure. As far as cluing these more directly, you know, it'd be great if you could just do the numbers corresponding to all the letters here. But you run into an issue in that it's pretty rare that the best time is an odd number, and you've got a few here that need to be odd. And the earliest one in the alphabet is a G, which is only 7, so you'd have to have a puzzle that has a solution that's 7 moves long. So I think one way I might think to change it is to get rid of the requirement to go back to the home, and that would let you have some easily that required an odd number of moves. So it's really cool that here in PuzzleScript you can just change the source code and run it. And so I put in a level here, and there's also actually a graphical level editor, so you can build it by hand without even having to put anything in. I tried to make one that has that's at least slightly interesting with a solution of 7 moves. So here's that one. And again, it's only 7 moves if you don't have to get back to where you started. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And this is very easy if you've done some of the others, but it's still not completely trivial. If somebody's looking for the first time, it's very likely they would get 9 or some other number out of this. I was thinking, would it be possible to have 7 puzzles that spell trilogy, and then once you achieve the best score, the best total, if you do it all in, then it unlocks one final level, and that final level has a best time of 42 moves. That might work, but I can also see a number of ways that could go wrong. And there's no indication that the last one is right, so this still would have the problem of the 44 trilogy possibly being a misclue. So, but like I said, I don't know if that was a problem for anyone except me. I have no idea if that would be any good at all, but I really like puzzle design, so just playing this through and thinking about it was really kind of inspiring. Great, that is it for day 4. We've got a total of 6 days in this puzzle hunt, so we've got 2 videos left for day 5 and day 6, and then probably one final video to wrap things up. Yeah, I wish I could say when you can expect those videos, but honestly, it'll probably be a while before I get around to it. But this has been great. I feel like I've learned a bit. I don't know if you've learned anything. Yeah, beyond that, I like to keep doing puzzle solving videos, but I will try to figure out some way to make it where I can release them more frequently. Maybe 1 puzzle per video, something like that. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time as we resume with the 2017 Galactic Puzzle Hunt.